promised, we'll speak today about growth marketing, about growth process, and actually, if you'll have any questions, just drop them in the comments, and both me and Ricardo will answer them. And if you'll enjoy such translations, we'll host more in future. We'll invite more B2B marketers, more B2B founders, and I hope it would be a great value for our group. So let's start, my man. And like you posted probably 1 month ago, your growth guide, and it was, from my opinion, one of the best content that was posted in our group. And
thank you.
if I am correct, just probably 30% of our group members downloaded this guide and read it. But anyway, so many people have like misbeliefs and misunderstandings when it comes to growth marketing. And let's start with your experience and with your opinion. Actually, what is growth process is? Is it simply a set of hacks, of tools, or I don't know, some fluff marketing tactics, or it is a strategy? What it is?
Okay, yeah, good question. I think I'll divide that into two separate talks. I think first I want to talk about what is like two separate stages of companies, because it really depends. If you need growth process, it really depends on what stage is your company at right now, I would say. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions between design sprints and actually growth marketing, growth processes itself. So I think you have to first understand there's two stages where your company is right now. First is you do not have product market fit, so you do not know these three things. I'm sorry, it's a little windy here. It's a little sunny outside in the window. But there's like three things that your company needs to be really sure of. That's one is that your product is ready. People are using it. People are also coming back. So you kind of know what roadmap you're building. Second is that you know who your target audience is. You exactly know, okay, this is an HR manager I really need to be focusing on. This is my target audience. And the third, and I think most of the people forget this, is that if you do not know what language they speak, so like speaking to an 18-year-old is totally different than speaking to a 24-year-old or a 50-year-old, which has been in companies for ages. It's a total different message, I would say. So you need to have these three things. One is message, target audience, and product development, knowing what to build next because you know your target audience. If you do not have these three key messages, you're still in the what I call the lost North Star. You're still trying to figure out stuff. You're still like, okay, what should I message? What should I be focusing on? What channel should I be focusing on? And making that transition is where the growth happens, basically. Anything before that is actually, you shouldn't be focusing on growth. You should really be focusing on getting outside of the building, talking to people. And I think to really break it down, I would say I'll give you like the hands-on differences between the two stages. And I think it's like a checkbox people can use, and I'll maybe share it afterwards, after this talk, is that if you're in the lost North Star, what I call that, you're still looking for these three things, the goals and the metrics and experimentations are totally different. I'll give you an example. If you're still in the lost North Star, your goal is to reach product market fit. If you're in product market fit, well, your goal is to make scalable, predictable, and repeatable growth. That's one goal difference. So depending on the stage, you want to be focusing on different goals. And I hope I'm not going too far with this, but it's something but it's something I've been seeing a lot of companies do, that they see they need growth, but they still haven't figured out why they need growth, or they're not at the stage that they can actually handle the growth. And sometimes taking a step back is a lot better than actually aiming for growth and trying to pull out tactics and that don't really work, or maybe they work for a different company and they don't work for you. So I think the first key step to growth is really understanding what stage is my company in. And instead of talking about it, I know the differences, but I'll just share it with the group afterwards. And just a checkbox in like which stage am I in, and do I really need growth right now, or is it actually just product fit or product market fit and product language fit I'm trying to achieve right now?
So it's great and strong position, and thank you once more for sharing your opinion. And when it comes to growth, you told that there are several stages, and you should figure out whether you can afford growth right now or you can't. And can you share just your thoughts when company, how you can figure out that you can afford growth or it's right time for growth?
So yeah, that's what the whole discussion is. And I think a lot of growth people, they, how do you call it? There is not like a real check mark. There is like check marks you can have, but like it kind of feels like that. But the only way that you need growth is when you reach product market fit. But what growth, product market fit is to people or to companies is really, really, really different depending on the stage. So you can have some check marks, and you'll have, I'll share the list. What I feel that you need to be check marking on, and one of those things is showing that there is retention depending on the industry you are in. That's one of the key marks. NPS score is one of the key marks. I think you shared this, I think this week,
Yesterday.
yesterday, about customer satisfaction. If your customers are not happy, and I've seen this with a lot of companies, suddenly they want growth and they start acquiring huge amount of people, and then after a few months, they realize they've spent all their ad budget, but they're actually not retaining people. And well, you kind of know better than I do that's where it goes wrong, right?
Yeah, sure thing. And actually, I'd like to ask you about metrics because I remember you told about one key metric you should track at every stage of your growth, but also from my observations, so many marketers are focusing on many metrics. And from your opinion, what are the core metrics and different stages?
Yeah, so I would say that depends on the company itself. I've tried to work with North Star metrics, and they're fun, but I think they lack something. Is the fact that I kind of see them as formulas, and not so much as one metric, or like a metric you can find from Google Analytics, for example. That doesn't really make sense. So most of the time, so for example, you'll just type in growth formulas, and well, I don't know if you'll find them in Google, but I'll try to share it as well. And most of the time what we work with is formulas. For example, is, let's say, people that came into the platform that have been 30 days active, for example, times the people that came from the other side and then bought something, for example. And it's going to be like a formula that adds up to a number, and see if that goes up or down. But it really, really depends on the company, and if you're a SaaS, if you're an e-commerce, if you're a two-sided marketplace, it really depends on the platform or the company you are in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on this.
If that's a question, but it does, like, it really evolves. Like, it does not stay the same thing. That's for sure.
Actually, we are living right now in the era of growth hacking, and we spoke about this several times, that every digital, like 2 years ago, it was like a trend to call yourself as a digital marketer. Now not every, but don't take me literally, but almost all digital marketers nowadays call themselves growth hackers, and that's why there are so many misbeliefs and misunderstandings when it comes to growth hacking. And actually, I'd like to ask you, from your experience in this growth area of marketing, what are the most common mistakes when it comes to growth marketing?
I think a little said it in the beginning is that understanding if you really need growth or not. That's like one misconception everybody has. It's crazy that I've seen people having growth workshops when they're actually still in the ideation phase. So when people are still thinking of an idea, um, and it's crazy like how people are having growth hacking workshops when actually they're actually called design sprints. That's the big difference. There's a big difference between having an idea and doing a design sprint and just, you know, confirming that or validating that that idea is worth something. That's a design sprint. And growth sprints are totally different. They actually, once you hit product market fit, that's when you start doing the sprints for growth. But anything before that is just a design sprint. So I think it's like a big misconception of what is a design sprint and how is a growth sprint and why growth hacking comes into play. I think that's the biggest misconception right now, I feel. And growth hacking just sells a lot better, right? I mean, it's a lot sexier, you know. I don't need marketing. And I kind of feel like a lot of companies, they miss the digital boat. They're like, oh, fuck, I need to do something about the digital side, right? Okay, so what do? I have these digital marketing companies and I have these growth hacking companies that can help me out. Which one sounds cooler, right? And at the end of the row, I feel that some companies just need the basics. They just need basic SEO, basic marketing, and kickstart with this instead of having this whole growth hacking mindset. It's something I kind of like feel is happening right now. These people missing the digital boat, and they're like just trying to solve something, and like growth hacking is going to be my one and all solution. I feel it's not.
And you know, I used to like to describe this situation as a marketing pine tree. So you can buy like an artificial pine tree, but without pivots, this pine tree won't be like a fancy stuff for your New Year, for your Christmas holidays. So because you simply won't be able to put your toys on your pine tree. That's why what happens to growth hacks. So they're actually great if you have a system, if you have, like you told, a basic marketing or foundations, like you have figured out your ideal customer profile, you have prioritized your marketing segments, you have developed your customer journey, unique selling proposition, etc., etc., and then and only then you can just add different growth hacks just to try with the marketing campaigns that already have predictive ROI, which already generate a predictive ROI. So that's actually, I also see these common mistakes that companies make everywhere. And I also would like to ask you, what are your, like, should I say, core tools, or probably what are your favorite tools you are using when it comes to growth marketing?
Well, I think in the growth process, you're just trying to validate a lot, right? So it's kind of a blend between design sprints and growth sprints. And like, for example, if you want to validate that a chatbot is something for you, you shouldn't be going out and building the whole chatbot. You have platforms for that. So I think, but to be honest, the most tools I'm in right now is, I think, would be Heap. Heap Analytics is amazing to just use as to see retention rates, to build up really nice analytics like cohort analysis, where do people come from, how do you identify them, which is amazing. It's not really a tool, it's analytics, but it really depends on also like what are you trying to do. I think Zapier is amazing just to make your life easier, because I still see a lot of companies in spreadsheets, and sometimes when you just show them Zapier, they're like, oh wow, I can automate my whole thing here and saves me time. Well, that's good. That's a big start, right? And I would say Segment also, but it's a little bit more expensive. It's about 100 euros a month. depending on the company you are. But it's amazing because you're able to connect all the dots, right? People are talking on intercom, Segment captures it, sends it to wherever you want to go. Some people are doing something on another app, or they're chatting through the mailbox. It also comes in your analytics, and you get like a whole overview, like a 360 degree of your customer, which is amazing, I feel. I'm still wondering how GDPR this is going to be in a second, but it's nice for now.
Yeah, actually, it would be. I assume it is a question for everybody right now because, when it comes to tracking, when it comes to when you want to track the user's behavior, your website visitor behavior, and then send behavioral emails triggered by specific actions on website. I also wondering how it will be acting when the GDPR comes, and actually I assume it is a question for every marketer, for every founder who runs not a brick and mortar business, but who has a bit something from digital. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really fun to see how people are preparing, but I feel it's a little bit the same like the word growth hacking. It's the same thing. I feel like what happened to it is like with Chinese whispers, like when you have a class when you were young and somebody's like talking to you, like a teacher says something to the first student and whispers something, and then he needs to say something the same thing, and then it goes back and forth, and at the end of the student is like saying completely different stuff. I feel the same thing happened to GDPR. Nobody actually knows what it is. They've read the Bible, I would call it, but they don't actually know what the implementations are or how it should be done for a company, for example.
Yeah, I sure think it would be. And I'd like to ask you, what's your opinion? Will the growth process change when the GDPR will come into play?
So yeah, the process is definitely gonna, not the process, but the way you ask for details or the way you're going to, capture data is going to change. So I wouldn't say that the process is going to change, but the way you need to go around with data is going to change. So how you ask an email, how you ask an opt-in, if you're able to ask for that data or not, is going to change, and it's going to have a huge implications in the way that it's going to take a lot of time from the growth manager or whoever is responsible for the data to blend in the pieces and understand what needs to happen to his website, to his app, whatever, and ask it in a very nice way that, we want to capture your data so, we can give you better experiences, right?
Does it mean actually the end of the era of scrapping?
It looks like it, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because when it comes to growth hacking, I don't know why, but from my experience, so many marketers just count growth hacking as simply scrap the information, simply scrap emails and first name, last name, and send cold email campaigns.
No, that's definitely there, and it's I think the first thing when you hear growth hacking, you're like, okay, well, I need to know how to scrape, I need to know how to catch emails and send them out and see what happens basically. And I think it's nice. I think GDPR is going to be awesome, unless, well, you'll still need to put some time in it, but you'll need to provide real value now. Like, you need to be like, the standards of marketing are raising, which is an amazing challenge for most marketeers to just raise the bar of their content, of what they're going to do. And it's also something I won't tell right now, but it's the guide I'm writing next, which we'll share together, on how to deliver real value in a world after GDPR. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that content. I'm, I think, at 42 pages right now. I think I'll be landing at 45, and it's just going to be a hands-on guide how to do it, for example.
This is awesome, and I assume I also would like to announce to guys who are listening us right now or who will watch this video in a recording, and I'd like to announce that we'll plan to launch an complete B2B growth marketing ebook at the end of May or in the early beginning of June with you, with Guillaume. I saw he also watched this video with Angela, with Staffo and another marketers from our community. And I assume it would be awesome content for all group members, and actually from my point of view, from what I saw when we planned topics for this ebook, it would be a great stuff that every B2B founder can implement in the second half of this year, actually implement it in his business, and it will happen to grow. So thank you very much for
and the best part
this.
is it's going to be free, right?
Yeah, I forgot to tell the best part.
It's a good part, right?
Yeah, it's the best part for
I think it's the best part. No gain, no loss.
For all guys from our community. I hope you'll enjoy this ebook and find it valuable, and it would be only the first step. So as you see, we are doing like first steps of this community development, and I hope you have enjoyed this live chat, and thanks once more, Ricardo, for joining me today. I hope we'll if you just comment under this video, did you enjoy this video, did you enjoy this chat, should we invite more B2B marketers and founders, because we have here in the community lots, I mean, dozens of great B2B marketing minds. So I assume it would be a great value for every group member. Just comment whether you like this idea or no, so we'll know. We'll
know later. It's like maybe nobody wants to read this.
watch this.
Oh yeah, watch
Growth chats, live chats, and we'll know whether we should do more this activity or no. And once more, after ebook, we plan to host a B2B marketing conference in Spain in October this year. Both me, Ricardo, Guillaume, Jill will be as a speakers on this conference, and once more I'd like to invite you, and I hope this would be a great steps to build a best B2B marketing community right now this year on Facebook, and in the next year I'd like to see it's the best B2B marketing community in the world. So this is our cool mission. And once more, thank you, Ricardo, for this live chats, for sharing your experience, and thanks guys for watching this video. Just let us know, did you enjoy it, and what's your opinion? Thanks once more, and have a great evening. Bye.
Ciao.